Welcome back to another spill drop tutorial. Today's video is inspired by Crow's Vanilla 2x2, which is a super versatile 2x2 base design that features detachable wide gap peak downs. Today's variation is a 2x3, which was in itself inspired by my friend Eddie. Shout out Eddie, go check out his Australia-based servers. They're a really good time. Now, this base design will have both an attached wide gap, link back to the main base, and a detached wide gap, which will attach to an external TC. There's also various customizations on this design, including a mini heli garage. So stay tuned if you want to see that and the full walkthrough featuring the built-in crude oil refinery. It's a pretty fun base design. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to start with a raised foundation here. This first foundation is important. To your right is going to be the secondary entrance. To your left will be the primary entrance, and this placement will be where your TC goes. Alright, from here we're going to go ahead and place two foundations out, one over here, and then I'm going to leave this gap open for my oil refinery, but you can fill it in if you want to make it a loot room instead. And like so, you have the 2x3 footprint laid out. Go ahead and get these upgraded here to seal it all in, and then this will be your jump up as you move forward. Now from here, you're going to want to start getting your entrances laid out. So we'll come down to the 2x side over here and get some triangles down. We'll go on over to the other side as well and do the same. Alright, get these upgraded to stone. And complete the honeycomb. Now you'll want your ramp here so you can get up to the next floor. And of course the honeycomb on this side as well. Alright, now the official footprint for the base itself is fully established. You may want to put your second ramp down here, and then we can go ahead and lock in the second floor. We'll close off this side, build around here. And I like to do loot rooms on either side of the jump up like this. And it gives your loot a little bit more safety that it's tucked in behind all of the honeycomb. I've also included a little bit of honeycomb here, which is just a cutaway into the honeycomb from the exterior. You still have these walls protected by additional honeycomb, so it doesn't take away from the raid cost too much, but it does give you a lot of extra utility in your base. So I would recommend using this either as a battery room, which can be a really good idea, or using it for furnaces, like so, or like so. And I do recommend having the hard side facing out, so that way if folks do raid through the honeycomb and get to this, they'll destroy the battery, of course, but then they will have to raid through a hard side wall or the window bars you can put in this window frame, which adds quite a bit of extra cost. Now this is an important step here. Once you've got the second floor sealed off, you've got your doors here. Now the next step is you're going to want to set up your jump up to the next floor. And to do that, you're going to want to get this honeycomb placed here, your wall frames down here to support the floor above them, the floor of course. And then I like to go ahead and get your shelf in right away here. That way you don't forget the shelf, which is the important part of navigating upwards in your base. And then as an additional remix to the design, I like to put a window here instead of just a regular wall. The original design by Crow uses just a window here for the extra support and defense, but I like a window for visibility and also for using those industrial systems that you may need to pipe from outside your base back into it. So that's all looking good. Let's go ahead and finish the honeycomb up to the second floor as well. Now at this stage, you do want to keep in mind that the raid to your TC is pretty much just through whatever honeycomb you put protecting this square. Raiders may not know that, but you will know that, and if they pick this side to raid through, you're going to feel really silly if you didn't protect it adequately. So from down here, you'll want to get the wall frames down, front door, roof, get all these upgraded. And then you're going to want your jump up to be on this side here. And then a door frame here to seal it all in, of course. Like so. Now your second floor is fully sealed and protected. You can put a double door frame right in here to seal in this jump up as well. Of course, with these jump ups, you're going to want to use a garage door so that way you can actually access the higher level. I like to mix it up with my garage doors, but for jump ups specifically, I like using this skin because you have really great visibility through this transparent section there. Works great down here for this jump up as well. Now that we're at this stage, we've got a pretty sizable base and everything is pretty well protected. Let's go ahead and get our refinery down. You want to make sure that when you place the refinery, you keep in mind that the adapter is on the right-hand side, so your left, the deployable's right. So when I place it here, that adapter is going to be to my left. I want to give it plenty of room so we can attach stuff to it. There, just like that. If you put the refinery too close to the wall, it can make it very tricky to attach pipes to that adapter. Let's get a super simple loot room here. Nothing too fancy. I've got some builds that use much more high density storage, but I'm just going to keep it real simple for you. I'm going to push these boxes as far back on this ramp as you can. That way you have room in front of them for smaller boxes. There's just a little rectangle that shows where the locking mechanism on the box is. That's considered the front. So if you flip it around, place it on this side here, it'll give you more options for attaching adapters later on. Okay, so for example, On this bottom shelf, I have this box facing the wall. So the only spot that I can actually clip an adapter to it is right here, which sort of makes it tough to put a small box in this space. Whereas on this side, you've got the adapter facing in towards the netting, which gives you a little bit more options here. On the top shelf, since both of these boxes are facing in towards this netting, you get both of those placements there. Get your small boxes in here, like that. And then if you want to do adapters on these guys, you can do it on the front or on the top. I prefer to do it on the top just so that way they're not poking through the garage door, such as in this case here. But as you can see, this is a pretty nice loot room. There may be ways to store additional boxes in here, but just for the sake of the video and expediency, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. It also does make it a little easier for your teammates to access these boxes when you limit it to 4 large boxes and 4 small boxes like this. It's a little bit easier to reach all of these. Think about the use case as well as your personal needs for your build, and that should guide how you lay out these loot rooms. Now, you should be able to put your shelf in here if you place the TC correctly. So go ahead and get that in so that later on you can add a little bit more storage in your TC room. And both of these, as I said earlier, can be used as loot rooms. You can place mixing tables in these rooms if you don't have the shelf, or you can make them into bedrooms if you prefer to have your bedrooms more central to your core. You may even consider putting a super forge into one of these cubes, and if that's something you're looking for, go ahead and click on the card that should appear right up in the corner there, and that'll take you to the Super Forge video, the most updated one, and show you how to squeeze just an absurd number of furnaces into a single 1x1. Moving on to the 3rd floor, we want to get this thing fully sealed. Your next step is going to be your roof retakes. Half wall here, low wall there, same on the other side, half wall here, low wall there, full wall, door frame, jump up. And then now you've got a door here to access your shooting floor, and another here for the same purpose. And then we're going to go ahead and seal the rest of this in from that triangle straight down. All right, seal this in with some floors to give yourself a nice secure bedroom area. And then for the roof access, you'll want to put a triangle floor frame in there. I like to do windows because why not? You can wall these in if you prefer the extra security. But for me, this high up and in such a large base, I like to have the extra visibility where I can get it. Now you can seal this in with a window, which I like to do. Give yourself full 360 view of the roof. Or you can put a wall here, give yourself a little bit of extra privacy, depending on what you're looking for. If you do seal in one of these windows or both of these windows, I recommend using a door with transparency, such as this door. So that way, if somebody's up on your roof messing around, you can just look through this window, see where they're at, and then address them accordingly. Now let's go downstairs and take care of the wide gaps. Now Crow's concept for the wide gaps on this base is just fantastic. It's a great concept. It works incredibly well for any base with this general footprint, like a 2x2, 3x2, etc. with these honeycombs. Really won't let you down. You'll do 3 twig foundations here, delete these 2, and then go triangles back all the way up to seal in this honeycomb. Triangles on the end, like so. Then you're going to do square, triangle, square, triangle. Delete the squares. You can upgrade these triangles to sheet metal to make them a little bit harder to soft side. It is still possible, but very difficult and incredibly tedious. And then I recommend just getting these up to stone. And you want to make sure that all of these triangles are connected either by wall frames or walls or with additional foundations like these here. That way the entire wide gap on this side is connected to either an external TC, like I'll show you over here, or back to the base, as I'll show you on the other side there. Let's get this side done as well here. Right up to metal. And then if you don't want the extra cost of the fanciness that I'm doing here, you can just do squares off of here for the external. But I like it to be symmetrical, and then you'll want 3 squares from here with a triangle for the TC. Go ahead and get this guy sealed in like so. And then if you look in this tool cupboard, you'll see that the upkeep is happening. Now you need to add the wall frames to keep these triangles attached, like so. And on this side, since we've got an external TC, I'm going to add a little bit of additional utility to the base here by putting some walls down instead of the wall frames. You'll see how these get used in just a moment. We'll send these up to the second floor, where our shooting floor is going to be. There's a window, a door frame, and a window here. Beautiful. Alright, so this wide gap is fully set up here. If you want, you can go ahead and get these triangles added in. Then let's go over to the other side and get the wide gap set up here. Now these ones are going to be attached back to the base, so it's just going to increase the upkeep cost, but provide you with a little bit of extra protection, not using the externals. So these are a little bit more secure for that reason. Alright, same way as on the other side. We're building this in sort of a natural terrain, which is probably how you're going to be building it too, so just keep in mind that you may need to adjust for the height on some of these foundations. Whoops. Now, since this is a little bit lower, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little cap to it. This also helps protect it against soft siding. Not super necessary when you use that metal foundation, but in order to keep it a good even height, I like to make sure it has that cap. To make sure that this connects back to the base properly, you'll go to this outer triangle here, place down a wall frame or a wall, and then take a square floor frame and a second square floor frame, and just connect them back to the base like that. That'll keep this wide gap attached to the primary base and give you a little bit of extra protection without needing that external TC. So if you build your base on like a cliff and you just don't have quite the room for an external on this side, this is a pretty good way to still keep your wide gaps without needing that extra space. Now let's go ahead and get these built up here. I'm going to do the same situation on this side with a wall. Windows all the way around this time. And then we'll just do wall frames on this side. However you want to lay this out, it's really up to you. Alright, get your triangles placed. And I'm going to show you what happens on this side when you don't place your triangles first. Get that sealed off. Now this also acts as an airlock, so nobody can pass through this point. They can't pass through this gap here or this side. So this is a fully airlocked space as long as nobody can get in from above. And in these two spaces off to the side on the ground level, you can put additional refineries if you like. You can put small furnaces, you can put mixing tables, whatever you like. It's really, really up to you and what you need and what your resources are. Go ahead and put in your triangles so you can get this floor in. This is a pretty cool peak that Crow showed in his video, and I just really loved it, so I like to stick with it as well. You put that square there after these triangles are placed, and there's no way to fall into any of these gaps, but you get some really great peaks. If instead you try to place that square first, it'll allow you to place that triangle, no problem, but this triangle will not attach. It will attach here, which might be useful, kind of, but it won't really give you the same great peaks that you would get otherwise. So I recommend putting the triangles first and then the square. All right, get your garage doors on this side. Now, we're going to want to get the shooting floor finished up here. Adding wall frames here increases the stability, so when I place my wind turbines off of this square here, it'll give it plenty of stability as it has frames going all the way down to the foundation. And now your shooting floor is fully sealed. There is no way for someone to push in through any of these gaps. They may be able to climb in through the windows if you don't have window bars or embrasures on there. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of as well. Now your shooting floor is fully protected and you have these great angles all the way down to the ground level. For this side here where we have the extra windows and walls, we're going to want a way to get up. I recommend putting a little roof here. You can put a turret under there and it'll help watch your front door for you. And then you'll want to get some floors in here, of course. For this design, since this is going to be a helicopter bay, I like to put these floors all the way up flipped against the base. But this will give you plenty of room to park multiple mini helis if you like, or you can use this space for mixing tables, for additional bedrooms. I like putting my computer station and drones in this area here because it's still pretty safe. Whoops. And this is fully separate from the base as well. You could soft side this wall here or this wall here and put in a door. That way you can access from inside the base as well. Now let's jump on up to the roof and get the roof all finished up. And at this point, we can finish off this roof exactly as Crow did in his video. So we'll do regular Square roofs all the way around attached to the outside. And then triangle roofs on this middle part here. Now from this point, you can add rooms onto your roof if you like. You can do little bedroom pods or storage pods or these cool bunker vending machines that I've seen. This is probably one of the simplest bunker designs in all of Rust, and one that's incredibly useful in a few very limited cases. So the design works like this. You'll place a wall down, then you'll place your vending machine. Want to get it lined up as best you can, then pushed back as far up against that wall as possible. Do the same on this side here, all the way up there. Now, you can't access these vending machines from the sides here, no matter how close you get, no matter where you look, even from this side. It feels like you should be able to, but you can't. You get up on top of these guys too, still can't get access to what's inside these vending machines. Now, go ahead and get these walls upgraded like so, and you can even upgrade them to a slightly better quality material, such as armored or metal, depending on what you've got inside these vending machines. Now the bunker works by placing a roof here. That will open up access to the vending machine like so, allow you to add items or administrate, broadcast, etc. from the vending machine. And then all you got to do is just delete these roofs, and it's business as usual. If you accidentally upgrade those roofs, you will need to soft side them, which you still can do from the back of the roof here. So don't worry about it. It is annoying, and hopefully you only upgrade it to, say, wood or something like that. But just keep in mind that it will be pretty tedious if you do upgrade these beyond twig. But that gives you some pretty secure vending machines that are accessible by drone from your rooftop. They don't require a door to be placed against. They don't really even take up that much usable space in the base. They're kind of out of the way here. And they give you a little bit of extra protection with these armored walls, just, for that effect. For any additional windmills that you want for this base design to power turrets, I recommend putting your windmills on these sides of the base, right above the primary and secondary entrances. You can add a little floor frame there, so you can place wall frames all around, get that extra stability as you work your way up. But I recommend using these squares on the sides for the windmill, just because they do have a lot of stability and you can build up incredibly high with them for this design. If you decide to make this a helicopter landing pad, it may help to have a little spot to actually land on. And if you do that, you may need to move your jump up maybe over here, wherever works best for you. But that way you have a little spot that you can land the heli on, so you can open the garage door while you're in the air. If you're flying back in your mini heli and you decide you want to park it up, you spot your base here, rendering in. Then just kind of bring it on easy down to the landing pad here. Alt look, you can hit that door open. Or of course you can switch seats. It may take a little wiggling to get this guy in. Some of these helis can be a little bit temperamental. And this is a pretty small parking space for this aircraft, but once you get it in, close the door, fully sealed. And as you can see, you can even push these mini helis all the way around and have quite a lot of storage for them in here. You could fit probably 3 at least in this base without too much trouble. And that's fully sealed off and protected from the outside. So even if your main base gets raided and griefed, you could still come in here if you've got access to your external. Pop this door open and live out of here for the time being. I'd recommend maybe not living here for a long time if somebody else has griefed the main base, but in a pinch, it gives you a good spot to kind of hold out for a while. Now, the outside of the base is fully completed. Shooting floor, roof, all of that. Inside the base, we've still got some empty space that we can use here. So I like to turn this area into a bedroom. It can help to use a single door here and a window there. So that way you can get some airlocks from, say, a double armored door here. It opens up to block this doorway. Same on this side as well. Like so. Can't pass through this gap there because of the airlock created by that double door. Same situation on this side, of course, which is quite nice. You can put embrasures on these windows, or you can put glass. Get yourself the fancy new blinds rug skin. Get it centered right here on the window. And look at that. Doesn't that just look nice? Give you a nice office space kind of vibe. You can get extra freaky with it by placing it nice and high up there. It still is kind of clipped into the wall, so it doesn't change the visual effect of that rug. I really love this rug skin, so I just wanted to show it off because, man, it looks so good. Get some doors on here. You're going to want to get a locker pod here. I've got a new concept that I'm going to share with you. Now, the Cauldron has just an amazing hitbox. I can't express enough how much I love this deployable. So you can place it even over this line here and still be able to put a wall against it. It's fantastic. And then place your locker right there. Now, seal this all in with a window or a door frame, whichever suits your fancy. There is a difference. Put a door frame in here. You'll notice that you can still hear the cauldrons cauldroning with this single door here. If you pop the door in the frame, the noise goes away. But if you do the window, you can't hear those cauldrons at all. Completely silent. You've got two cauldrons in here you can access. You've got a locker here you can use. So you can have food cooking and waiting for you to respawn in your little locker cube when you die, inevitably. Go ahead and get your beds placed down here. And I've found that if you use two beds like that, it can be really tricky navigating through these doorways. So I like to add a campfire here. This is just another quality of life kind of thing. But you'll notice that if you put a little campfire there, it allows you to climb up that little bit of space between the floor and the top of the bed without having to jump at all. So you can sneak around in your base fully silent without anybody having any idea. So we'll do the same on this side. You can easily fit 4 beds up here on this floor. More if you decide to lay this out differently. It's really up to you. It also doesn't hurt to put a locker up here if you've got glass in this window so that nobody can reach through. And once you've got garage doors down on your loot room and your jump up, base is pretty much done. You may need to flesh out certain things, get some workbenches, furnaces in here, but how you lay those out is entirely up to you. The upkeep for the external attached to the helicopter garage here is pretty minimal. You can see the upkeep for the main base. You can, of course, upgrade all of this. Be cautious when upgrading foundations underneath ramps because it can destroy boxes that you've placed, as you just saw there. Double armored doors down here gives you another sort of airlock opportunity. You've got this option here to just leave these doors open. It is a little counterintuitive to open these doors like this, but if you've got them wired to a door controller, you can have both of these doors open at the same time with the push of a button. That way you won't run the risk of people being able to go deep. You can see that there's just no physical way for someone to push their way into that gap to get down here. So no one could go deep if both of those are open, but if one of them is, then, well, that's a different story. With those updates, the armored doors, the armored ceilings, etc., just for the core, the cost for upkeep does go up quite a bit in terms of the HQM. Now, the rocket cost for raiding a base like this, if you knew exactly where the TC is, would be something to this effect. Let's go ahead and measure it out. 2, 3. And there you have it, the raid cost to TC. Not too bad for a build like this. Of course, that cost does go up when you upgrade the honeycomb to metal, so keep that in mind. This is sort of the really basic layout for this base. This design also has the optional helicopter garage, as well as the extra space down at the foot of your base for additional oil refineries, mixing tables, etc. I've got some concepts here for how I would lay this out personally, but like I said, this is entirely up to you and how you like to use the space. So take my concepts with a grain of salt. Better yet, design a layout that fits you and your needs. And that is the spill drop version of Crow's fantastic vanilla 2x2. And this is the vanilla 2x3 with some little extra features that I find add immense value to a base design, but still faithful to the original concept. Thank you so much, Crow, for this fantastic build that inspired the 2x3 that you see here. And Eddie, thank you so much for giving me additional inspiration to get this base built and this video made. And thank you for watching and subscribing. I'll catch you in the next one.